I'm going to start off by saying, Call Allah, Yahbashim Yahushai, Yahbashim Yahushai, Bashim Kadash, the Bahanasa apostles, who are elders, which are GMS. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth sincerity. This is Rob Amath with the Nebraska camp. This is GMS. Any push to the mark, I like to believe. I'm on my desktop, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, I want to go over the association of Ashteroth. What I wanted to go over is really Ashteroth and the LGBTQ. But one of the elder brothers who goes by the name of Yashawan off in D-Town or Dallas, he did a lesson going over the LGBTQ in Egypt. Being, because there's, the new flavor of the month is these Pan-African niggas is popping up again with something to argue about, just trying to poke the bear type of deal to get their views up. But, it's a good subject indeed because, all these people, and all these other facets talk all that crap, but they're really associated, with these other gods and not the God of the true power, which is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, with the true power is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Okay, and His Son, which is Yahweh Shai. All right. So right here, as you see on the screen record, you got Molech was an ancient Amorite fire god. Why do I got Molech here? Because even if I show you in my regular Google search, Ashteroth worship practices. This is what I Google. So when you put that in, Molech worship practices, because in all reality, show you something. Okay, so when you go into Jeremiah 44:17, because this is important. This is the point that we're getting to, is that Ashtaroth, Molech, Diana, Ishtar, Astarte, Astarte, just like I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's AST, ART. So that's the Egyptian version of it. Matter of fact, I'll show you. See here if I have it. Damn, I don't want to lose it. Matter of fact, let's see if I can create a new one. See here, Ashteroth in Egypt. All right, so I put in Ashteroth in Egypt before. No, that's not it. But there you go. Astarte. Ashteroth in Egypt. Astarte is the Hellenized form of the ancient Near Eastern goddess Atart. She also believes she was celebrated in Egypt, is what they're saying. See here, worship and from the Bronze Age through classically antiquity, and her name is particularly associated with her worship in the ancient Levant among the Canaanites and Phoenicians, though she was originally associated with the Amorite sites like Ugarit and Emar, as well as Mari. She also celebrated in Egypt, especially during the reign of Ramesses, following the important importation of the foreign cults. Their Phoenician intruded her cult in their colonies on the Iberian Peninsula. So, yeah, Atar is what it's saying. Atar is an ancient Semitic deity whose role, name, and even gender varied across the culture of West Asia. In both genders, Atar is identified with what? The planet Venus. Okay, Venus is also an association, because the reason why I'm naming all these guys, because all these guys have different names and different looks, but the one thing that's synonymous from nation to nation, kingdom to kingdom, It's how do you worship them? And let's watch this video because it's all synonymous with this video and showing you, dealing with the fertility, dealing with woman worship, dealing with the castration of men, dealing with the sex change, dealing with prostitutes in temples, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It says, I'm gonna read this as well because while I'm speaking. Hey, here it goes. It says, in various cultures, Astarte was connected with the combination of the following spheres: war, sexuality, royal power, beauty, healing, especially Ugarit and Emar, hunting. However, known sources do not indicate she was a fertility goddess, contrary to opinions in early scholarship. Her symbol was the lion, and she was also often associated with the horse, and by extension, chariots. So they're sitting there. They're gonna tell you this lie right here, that fertility goddess deal. She is associated with it. Okay, fertility goddess is God associated with fertility, sex, pregnancy, childbirth, and crops. In some cases, these deities are directly associated with these experiences, and it's crazy that this fertility goddess is associated with fertility. In this time, fertility is at an all-time low. Sex is being manipulated. Pregnancy is being manipulated. Childbirth is being manipulated. Crops is being manipulated. All right, as far as stunting the growth of it. Okay, it says contrary. Let's see here, Babylon to say that their gods ain't answering them because they're attacking all these areas. Babylonian goddess Ishtar. Let's see here. Boom, there you go. This bitch look evil, man. Got horns, It's been like It's been like Cardi B. It's been like Cardi B. All right, let me get back to it. I'm sorry, let me get back to it. This shit funny. It said that and of the Hurrian Ishtar like goddess. Okay, Salakia, lady of love. Okay, in some cities, the western forms of the name and eastern form is Ishtar. We all know about Ishtar going back to Semiramis and Tammuz. Okay, because really it just goes back to Babylon. So when everybody be sitting there arguing, "Ooh, this guy was first," it's just the same worship, getting freaky, changing your sexes, taking all that, the LSD and all that, and sitting there getting freaky in a room with vape pens. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit. The God is different, but the worship is the same. It says, in later times, Astarte was worshipped in Syria, Canaan. Her worship spread to Cyprus, where she may have been merged with the ancient Cypriot goddess. This merged Cypriot goddess may have been adopted into Greek pantheon in Mycenaean and Dark Ages times to form Aphrodite. Okay, so the Cyprus, when you talk about Cyprus, how did Cyprus officially? How did Cyprus get into? How did the Phoenicians get into Cyprus? Well, that goes back to Hannibal and everybody took over, because remember, it's your boy name Alexander the Great. His last, I think King Philip's last campaign was in Cyprus, and it was in attempts to, I believe it was the Phoenicians at the time, or it could have been Japhet. Could have been Japhet, I believe. At the time, that was on the islands, because that's how Japhet got pushed out. But I believe they got pushed out before. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they was pushed out before they was fully pushed out of Greece and Rome, or it's a different time. But I believe that they was there. But I'm gonna have to just check it out. I'm gonna do that research soon as well. But let's get back to the subject at hand. Aphrodite is an ancient Greek goddess associated with love, beauty, lust, pleasure, passion, procreation, and her syncretized Roman goddess counterpart, Venus. You see how all this is associated: desire, sex, fertility, prosperity, and victory. Aphrodite's major symbols include seashells, myrtle. Let's see here. Seashells, because I really want to see that. What the fuck Aphrodite fuck? Well, symbols include seashells, myrtle, roses, doves, sparrows, and swans. The cult of Aphrodite was largely derived from that of Phoenician goddess Astarte. Okay, but we're gonna get back to it. I don't want to dig too much into one thing like that. Let's see where we was. Let's get back to the meat and potatoes. All right, so I want you guys to check this out real quick. All right.
Why does this ancient spirit sound so familiar? Watch this.
She had a priesthood. Her priests, listen to this, in her temples they were men who dressed up as women.
Now I want to say this. This is not for financial gain. Under the Copyright Act, this is just for educational purposes. Gotta get the Copyright Act, but yeah, YouTube know what I'm talking about. We'll continue.
And they acted as women dressed up. So what's going to happen if she comes back? What's going to happen is, as she possesses a culture, is that men will start dressing. We'll start seeing that in our culture, which we do. These are her ancient priesthood. Also, they were involved in same-sex sexuality. We see that explosion as well. Also, it said, remember, she says she turns men into women, transitions them, and women into men. Many of her priests were actually surgically altered. She calls them to be surgically
Never knew that.
Yes.
I thought that was just something of our gen.
Well, we do it more sophisticated, but she, especially all the gods, but they go after the children, because if you have the children, you have the future. And so that happened in ancient times, happening now. And so you think, what would possess an adult to do this to children? Well, what would possess it? The spirit. The spirit of the goddess.
Why does this ancient spirit sound so familiar?
Yeah, yes, sir. So yeah, this is the energy out there, and okay, so let's. Where's the other one? Let's see here. Come on now. That's crazy. I got it on there. They're playing games. You're playing games. You're playing games. Slack, hold on real quick. Man, can't find it right now, but there's a video, and you can type it up in Google, but there's a video of a protest or a parade in a city, and their chants was matter of fact, why am I talking about it? So I don't know what they're done. Let's see here. They're talking about we're covering bears. No, this is what we're looking at right here. Let's get to it. Yeah, so I don't want to do a spill, but it's crazy that a person like that could be on YouTube doing that, but you can't say anything about medicine or this and that, and that's medical misinformation. That's crazy to me. But that show you the direction and the energy and the worship direction of this place is going into a demonic worship of these other gods, and they're not even in existence. It's just a ritual, all right? Because this is the fact that it shows is just a dumbass ritual is because none of it's working. Esau ain't getting no more kids. Ain't nobody answering nothing, man. Yeah, y'all just getting hella euphorias off of that blood y'all drinking, that adrenochrome, you know. All right, we're gonna cancel that. All right, so where we going? We're gonna go over here. Okay, so when you go to Ashteroth, it says Ashteroth, the name goddess of the name of a goddess of the Sidonians. Okay. You see that in Judges, for Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abominations of the Ammonites. You know, and this is the thing, because people got tripped up when the elders said that, you know, Solomon got into all kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And it was into, you know, it could be speculated, but he could have got into homosexuality as well. You know what I'm saying? But he got into a whole bunch of stuff, even witchcraft, okay? Which that's why they got the keys of Solomon or something like that. Solomon got into some crazy stuff at a point, okay? It says, and also of the Philistines, and it shows you, it says, and they put his armor in the house of Ashtaroth, which is there's a place and there's a god, okay? Ashtaroth, there's Ashtaroth, the place, and then there's a god that's associated with it. Says, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bashan. So they're showing you that here's a place, and then here's a scripture where they show that there's a worship going on. It says, was celebrated by Solomon himself. All right, and it tells you, okay, again, was finally put down by Josiah, okay, which was beautiful. This is a beautiful moment within the scriptures. It says, in the high places, Salakia, 2 Kings 23 and 13. It says, in the high places that were before Jerusalem, which were on the right hand of the Mount of Corruption, which Solomon, the king of Israel, had builded for Ashtaroth, the abomination of the Zidonians, and for Chemish, and the abominations of the Moabites, because it says in Milcom, and for Milcom, the abomination of the children of Ammon, did the king defile. Because remember, when you go into see here, go into Molech, trying to find it. I believe Molech is a god of the Ammonites, or one of the. I think it's no. It's this one. It's this one. It's Ashtaroth. I believe Ashtaroth is associated with the Ammonites. Okay, but let's continue. It says the worship of Astarte. See, they call it Astarte, even though it's Ashtaroth. It's also called Astarte. Okay. Salakia. I almost skipped over a whole strong ass point. She is frequently mentioned in connection with what? Baal. Also Molech, which is what? Child sacrifice via child burning. That's why they're coming after your children. Okay. As the corresponding female divinity. Okay. Judges, and they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. Hey, that's Yapa, because that shows you the connection. And from the addition of the words, and all the host of heaven. Okay, I don't like this reference here when I checked it out. Okay, but so I'm not gonna apply that. You know, this is somebody else's build up. So most of the stuff you got to pick out the bones. You know, so Asherah. It is probable that she represents one of the celestial bodies. See, they start, wilding out. There is also reason to believe that she is meant to be. She is meant by what? The Queen of Heaven in Jeremiah 17 and 8. Slack 7 and 18. The children gather wood, and fathers kindle the fire, and women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. This is proof. That's our people are under this vibration. Okay, that Queen of Heaven vibration, the woman worship, Mother's Day, women can do no wrong. The demonicness of it, the flipping of the fertility, they're fucking with it. You know what I'm saying, baby, via through because Esau, like, it's just like Esau and these freaky niggas with sex. You got regular sex, then they go into the worship of it, and then now somehow it turns flip to where they're not even They're changing their sex, is what I mean. So this is what they're doing with fertility. They get into it so much that they start drilling the baby out stomachs and all that, and start drinking the baby, selling apart stem cells. So they become super obsessed with fertility. Okay, just not in a productive manner, because everything he put his hands to is going to be destroyed. Is destroyed. All right. So when you go into the Isaiah chapter 47 and 17, okay, and we mentioned that in Jeremiah, not Isaiah, as I keep saying, it's Jeremiah 44 and 17. Jeremiah 7 and 18 mentions it, the Queen of Heaven, but there's also another reference which is the same word, okay. It goes back to Molech, okay, Malakam, okay, and when you go into that Molech, by definition, into the interlinear lexicon, and not the definition, but the one that you got to click on underneath when it's italicized. Matter of fact, take this real quick, put this over here. Hey, that's Yapa. All right, so you see it here. It's ma la ka ma. All right. No, this cannot be that, because these are two different letters. All right, Salakia. I forget what's this is Malakat. Look like Malakam. Could be tripping. This could be the ending letter. I got to get back into this Syrian, man. It says Molech, an idol of the Ammonites. All right. It says, where's the point I wanted to get? It's like, yeah, that's Joppa. I'm going to use that. All right. Molech paid divine honors. Either is the moon. Okay. Because Jake was worshiping the moon, the planet, Venus. All right. It says what? It's a deity goddess, goddess of worship, like a Syriac translator, the worship of the Queen of Heaven. Okay, so Venus, Molech, all that's associated with what? The Queen of Heaven, woman worship, just the whole energy of that. All, because they hybrid these gods. Again, these gods aren't like they do shit. They just make people. It's just like Gad when they be killing niggas to bring rain. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna rain anyway. You know what I'm saying? A baby's gonna be born anyway. Whatever they're trying to do it for is gonna happen anyway, because the true power is making it happen, who is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, so but you know how these other people do? They choose other gods and they want to get into their freaky worship in the name or in the direction of that god. And then they say, okay, this is when things happen, a birth or even a death or crops going up and going down, they say it's in the name of that God. All right. It says the worship of Astarte was very ancient. They even had a what's that, unnamed God, a God with no name. I'm saying it's just worship, because niggas be worshiping. They be making cults, making a cult in a manner of making your own cult, creating your own practices. And Jake do that to this day, man. All right, the Baptist church is the same thing. That's what they were doing. The unnamed God, the goddess of Venus and all that, the Scientology, LGBTQ. That ain't nothing but Ashteroth all over again. Okay, it says the worship of Astarte was very ancient and widely spread. We find plural Ashteroth united with the adjunct Carneum as the name of a city. Yeah, so early as the time of Abraham. So I'm not about to read all that. I'm about to try to get to the point. There's a lot of good points. It says the worship of Astarte seems to have extended wherever Phoenician colonies were founded, as you see. And that's why I was mentioning that Cyprus situation, because where Cyprus happened, that's where, Hannibal and them had, I don't even know if Hannibal in particular, but I know the Phoenicians took over Cyprus. But I believe it was Hannibal who did it. But that gave them that spot. All right. It says, thus we find her name in an inscription still existing in the islands of Cyprus. Hey, come get him. Hosea, chill out, man. I don't want to hear all that. Stop all that crying, buddy. It says, not unfrequently as an element. All right. Carthage. The name occurs moreover written in Egyptian hieroglyphs as a start, right, for evidence of her widespread worship. It is worthy of remark that Rogier, in his recently published agenda in Gesenius, see here, I'll get to another point because they're going to keep going into it, all this other shit. Says the emphatic state to the Arabians as Alida or Alilat. Alilat, the goddess, which may, however, also mean the crescent moon. Man, telling you, bro, it's a lot of that. This type of worship has been going on. Esau just freaky, bro. In all these nations, it says the moon. Well, really just sensual, because sex is one of the like most perennial things that take over people's mind, man, in this world. People do a lot of things for it. It says the moon, or according to Kluger's suggestion, see here, I'm trying to get to the point. The supposed Punic name, Thaloth, which Manter, Haymaker, others consider to mean genitrix, and to belong to this goddess cannot be induced. And the Gesenius has recently shown, where did I see this at, man? Yeah, here we go. So Gesenius has shown that the name has arisen from a false reading of the inscriptions, but it is not at all open to doubt that this goddess was worshipped as at ancient Carthage, probably under her Phoenician name. The classical writers who usually identify gods of other nations with their own, rather than to discriminate between them, blah blah such and so forth. They're gonna just go on and on. But I'm gonna get to this last one. We're gonna close it out. But this the last paragraph goes into like the worship. See here, it says the rites of her worship, if we may assume they're resembling those who profane altars. See here, yep, talk about the cakes, which are called, hot cross buns. All right, Greeks by the name, and Jake just be doing it because hot cross buns are in the Catholic Church, and you're just doing it not knowing that it's associated with a god or another god. And the Lord said, "Don't put no other gods before me." You just walking. You're not even walking in His temple, because if they do it in that temple, whose temple is it? It says, "And were by the name, were by them made in the shape of a sickle," in reference to the new moon. All right, but now I say that they put crosses in the buns. All right, so this is, I don't know what they're talking about. This may be another association or something like that. It says, among fruits and pomegranate, no blood was shed on her altar, but male animals and chiefly kids.
Are you gonna see the cat? I just found him in the hallway. Sorry.
No damn cat. And chiefly kids were sacrificed to her. Saying, they're here, they're queer, they're coming to save your children, they're coming for your children. Hence, some suppose that the reason why Judah promised the harlot a kid was that she might be sacrificed to Ashteroth. This is bullshit. This scripture does not say that. I gotta put that out there for the record. This is the most prominent part, but she did believe Judah, not Judah, but Judah did believe that his kid was going to die because of the woman's children were dying. But that's a good point. I'm not saying this is true, because the scriptures don't say that. But that's crazy that a lot of these people that are having kids are not having kids. You know what I'm saying? It could be through Esau doing all that crazy ass shit with that wickedness, man. Because even though the worship is the God isn't real, the worship is an act. But there are demons that are associated when you go back to Tobit and showing how that demon was killing every man that went into the bedchambers to marry, the woman Tobit married. Okay, can't remember her name at the moment. It says the most prominent part of her worship, however, consists of what? Licentiousness, orgies. Getting freaky. Was an eyewitness. And what they do in these celebrities and with the high when you get in there, come on, man. They they're doing this. It's the same shit. New toilet, man. It says the horrors in Carthage describes with such indignation. Her priests were eunuchs, there you go, in women's attire, there we go, okay, male devotees and women, female devotees, which term is that Hosea 4:4, I will punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses, they commit adultery for themselves, are separate with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore, the people that doth not understand it does not understand it fall. And that's a fact. And that's why our people are falling right now to this day. Okay? Because they think that that's love. They think that that's, man, let them do their thing. They ain't bothering nobody. This is a whole demonic worship going on. This is a whole vibration. That's, it could be associated with the infertility. It could be associated with these crops, them trying to, summon these demons. All right. But it's all, to the will of the Heavenly Father, because, it's just proving that Esau's wicked and proving that, the elect ain't with all that. The elect is a rebellion against Molech and Ashtaroth and Babylon. Okay. It says which term ought to, and that's crazy because this God originated in Babylon. Okay. It says which term ought to be distinguished from ordinary harlots. Because this is another thing that you have temple harlots, and you have a watch, and this is me speaking as a man, but I don't got no documented proof is what I mean, that you got fucking Aaliyah, you have, with celebrity women would just date celebrities. And you'd be like, why don't you just get your own? Why y'all got to keep sharing Amber Rose and this? Because they're temple harlots. You know what I'm saying? That's me speaking as a man, but I got a strong unction that those are temple harlots. Okay? Going to the 300 with those women, okay? A certain age, dealing with women a certain age. Look at once they hit a certain age, and they'll get rid of them because they'll use them how to do with licking them and shit and getting inclination. Yeah, I was saying Leonardo DiCaprio only messing with women over under 24 and shit. Come on, man. Let's continue. It says, who like Beatrice of India prostitutes themselves to enrich the temple of this goddess. See, sodomite. Come on, bro. This is, y'all won't talk about us and dealing with, when we take over a place and you deal with the women. That's always happened in history. Why y'all acting like y'all nobody be doing that, bro? Why y'all acting like when Esau came over here and he ravaged the Gadites that he ain't take the women? Why y'all act like when pirates hop off of ships and they don't they kill the dudes and take the women? You know what I'm saying? Egyptians, everybody did it, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is not, oh, you did it, I did. It's a normal thing. Okay, how do you reproduce? What is the booty? The money, the land, and the women and the cattle, man. Okay, because you could sell women too. All right, in a righteous manner, not as you slaving. No, fathers sold their daughters. Okay, I was talking to this Hamite the other day. He said, "Yeah, I got my wife for 10 cows." I was like, "Man, hey man, how much some cows is? $250 a cow?" I said, "Oh, it's not. It's 2 bands. It's 2,500, baby." No, he said what? I think it was 20 cows or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it's about 25 bands, baby. It says the prohibition in what is that? Deuteronomy 28:18. Thou shalt not bring the hire or a whore. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy power for any vow, for even both these are abominations unto the Lord thy power. Because you be having a lot of them female preachers be super freaky too. You know what I'm saying? This is an energy, a vibration. Okay. The god Molech ain't real, but that them demons, them freaky ass demons, the demon of being freaky is real. You know what I'm saying? The witch riding your back, the what you call it, succubus, legion. Them demons are real and they have agendas. You know, certain demons have certain agendas. Certain demons are anger, demons are sexual immorality, demons are greed. Okay, just like there's lion spirits, such on and so forth. Okay, so and the scriptures show you that. All right, so I'm gonna read a little bit more. We're gonna close it out. It says, "As for the places consecrated to her worship, although the numerous passages in which the author verse has erroneously rendered by grove are to be deducted, see grove." Okay, when you go to that word grove, the represented Selden was the first who endeavored to show that this word, man, come on now. Let's see here. Let's get to the point. It says, appears namely to be an indisputable fact that both Baal and Ashteroth, although their primary relations was the sun and moon, came in process of time to be connected, and in the religion's concept of Syro-Arabians with the planets Jupiter and Venus. All right, because remember they had that's not our cat.
She's the manager lady. She's gonna run downstairs and then she's gonna come back up. We'll just wait until she comes.
Oh, man, I'm not taking nobody's cat. Why don't you keep that cat in the hallway? Yeah, get that cat.
Come on. Come on.
Since after two starts of good fortune, Slakiakin, it says we may instance connected between I'm it kind of distracting me, but yeah. So all this, I'm just showing how all this is all in connection. That a star is often sometimes found in emblems with which Ashteroth is represented on ancient coins. Lastly, while the word Ashteroth cannot, in the sense of grove, be legitimately deduced from the primitive or secondary signification. And I want to say again, because it's another association that they worship in groves. See here, if I show you grove, and just talking about Grove Street either. My Grove Street, dude. It's not GTA. There you go, boom, Grove. Come on now, stop playing with me. All right, they worship under these, but then these are associated with what? Church groves. All right, church groves. So you go to church groves. I can't find it. Yeah, so you can kind of see the arc symbolism, the roof. See here, the roof of churches. Come on, man, you know it's. Go to the interior roof of a church, right? There you go. All right, there you go. Oh, this is beautiful. This is a phenomenal example right here. Come on, Satan, stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? See that work? It ain't showing the ones that I had that did. There you go, right here. You know what I'm saying? Same type of concept. There says architectural feat and all that, but no, nigga, you trying to make that shit look like a grove. I know what you're doing, Satan. I know what you're doing. All right. Let's see here. I don't want to leave off of this real quick because they got some heat up in here. There's another. I'll probably leave. Yep, gardens and shady trees are mentioned in particular seats. Octavius writes, get these scriptures that they got. It says, "For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which they have desired." Isaiah 1:29, man, cutting. "And ye shall be confounded for the gardens that ye have chosen." And that's really, that's talking about a covering. But the groves is a covering. That's what you are under. So it's a symbolism, because just like Yahweh Shem Yahshua uses symbolisms, they're doing it to honor their God, but their God isn't real, you know, because like the Lord will do symbolism. We have to put our altar together. They'll put their altar together, but it's for nobody else. But they see us doing it, so they're gonna want to do it. And then our people see them doing it, and oh, cool, and then they want to go do it. Going back to the book of Maccabees, the first chapter. Okay. See here, it says, "For they, 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 23, for they also built them high places and images and groves on every high hill and under every green tree." You know, so our people was into this. You know, they're still into it because they run the church. I go to church every and all they tell you is how to be effeminate, man. This holy feminine energy is behind that. All this shit is associated with it, man. So let's get this last one and then we're going. I keep saying that, but I ain't lying, y'all. I ain't lying. It's about to wind down. It says Molech was the ancient. Yeah, that's what I was looking for earlier. Molech was the ancient Ammonite fire god. Okay, as early as 1450 BC, as they wandered the wilderness, Israel was worshiping Molech. Where they get it from? Egypt. You know, we found the home and the residence of Slakim. Man, it says, as they wandered in the wilderness, Israel was worshiping Molech even before they entered the land of Canaan. For that reason, Moses and Yahweh and Moses prohibited Israel from worshiping Molech in Leviticus. "Have you offered unto me sacrifice and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Molech." And so, you know, it's showing that Jake and that goes into the sacrifice of children. But one thing about these gods, we hear about what they do, not how they do it. We don't hear about the castration of the priests were eunuchs, but nobody really talked about they were castrated and it's really a sex change, low key. You know what I'm saying? That they castrated. It wasn't like you could have your rod and you just worship. No, you were castrated. Your sex was changed. There were transgenders, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So it says scriptures deals with shrine prostitution under the rubric of worshiping the false gods of Canaan, right? So it's going. So this is the part I wanted to get right. Molech, names of Molech or Moloch. And this is the part I want to get, who was Ashteroth. It says, anyone who reads history knows that various writers in various countries spell names differently. These names all refer to the same false god. Molech, Moloch, Milcom, Moloch, Molech, you know, Malik, Melech, Melcom, Melquart, Milk. You know, y'all see it, you know what I'm saying? Kronos, you know, Islam, in Islam, Molech is called Malak or Malik, meaning king. believe, because Malak in Hebrew is king. Okay. Believed to be the principal angel in charge of Jahannam, the Islamic version of hell. You see? Man, it says that Molech worship was already common among Canaanites and Israel. When Israel entered the land, it's evident that the fact that before Israel entered the land, Yahweh warned them that against Molech worship and abomination, as an abomination of the abomination the Israelites were forbidden to practice. Okay, and we just read that. So continue on. I almost lost my train of thought, but I'm gonna continue on this thought here. It says fire gods like Molech and as fertility goddess consort Ashteroth were not religious fantasies. They exercise a very real power over the primitive Canaanites, and their pagan worship snared some of the children of Israel. Yeah, so it's the practices that got them, not the God. It's the practices, getting freaky, drugs, LSD, sex changes, all that. What is it happening now? You know what I'm saying? They ain't that they want to follow a flag. These people or Esau put hell on you, mess you up mentally, and then give you an out. And the out is like, oh, you want a sex change? I'll give you a free sex change, but you don't get nobody chemotherapy for free. You don't get nobody any surgery for free. You know, babies being born for free. You know, if you want to really get into fertility, but that's Esau, man. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay. Okay, this Ashtaroth was the fertility goddess consort of Molech. Ashtaroth Salakia, that could be the thing too. Ashtaroth and Molech, they're not the same. They're just counterparts, like Semiramis and Tammuz, and then Ishtar, Isis, and there is a trio. There's always a trio, and Ashtaroth is like the counterpart of Molech. Okay. Ashtaroth's name is mentioned. We went to these scriptures as well. Ashtaroth is mentioned 12 times in the Old Testament. The word is used as a name of a town in ancient Israel. Just tell you about the worship. It says, now this is important right here, this last part, or this part here. Molech represented the male principle of life and reproduction, while Ashtaroth represent female principle of fertility. Okay. The sexual relationship between God is an example of unbridled sensuality among their worship. But this is it right here. This is it, Michael Jackson. This is it. This is it right here. We get into the meat and potatoes right now. Right out the gate. It says, anal sex between male and female. Anal sex between male and male worshippers and male and female worshippers was viewed as an offering to the goddess. Yeah, Kevin Gates probably was a priest. The way he talked, his love for the booty. Some 1450 years after Leviticus, the Apostle Paul referenced pagan worship in Romans 1:26 when he blasts the same kind of fertility goddess worship in 1st century, which is talking about who? Diana, the queen of heaven. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. All these guys is just different names that you're attaching to it. The one with all the titties on it. Artist depiction of a Molech idol. Yeah, man. The Molech idol was a large hollow brass statue with the head of a bull and the bulging belly of a man. It was designed like an old-fashioned pot, belied stove, with the belly as the firebox. The child sacrifice laid on the hands would roll into the fire in the belly of the cavity. Man, it's crazy. But they got another one where they just have a cow and just put it underneath. So I guess it's their depiction. This don't mean that that's what it is. Says see here. Yeah, I ain't about to read all that. It ain't a lot. It's just bullshit. So we're going to ancient fertility goddess. So one can readily see why Yahweh and Moses called this pagan religion practice, the sexual rites associated with it, abomination. Molech worship is essentially identical with worship of Kamash of Moab, Kronos of Carthage, and Melkart of Tyre. The general, what is that? The general name used throughout Palestine and in the Bible for this type of fire god was Baal, according to Jewish encyclopedia. The first learned Baal worship from the agricultural Canaanites. Ancient fertility goddess. The religious Canaanites worship a fertility goddess named Ashteroth. See? In Ashteroth's worship service, male worships had anal sex with priests and priests of the goddess. This was viewed as an offering to the fertility. Come on, Diddy, break it down for him, P. Diddy. I'm sure P. Diddy could do a lesson on this and give y'all all the good scoop. It says the priests and male prostitutes who were consecrated to her cult were called Kadash, which is or Kodesh says Kodeshim or Sodomites. Okay. It says male Kodeshim engaged in shrine prostitution. It's almost like Esau's trying to build his temple, man, through creating the religion. It's crazy, like he's creating a religion and he's not even calling it religion. He's just making everybody do the worship practices, and they don't even know that they're worshiping the gods that they're putting in front of. As a universal, the whole nation of America is participating in this. Whether you straight, they've been influenced to do anal sex, get freaky, fertility, one night stands, one and done. They've been trained to worship these guys, and they don't even know that they're worshiping them. Okay, that's why the Lord say, worship the Father of spirits and live, man. Okay, because the Esau is wicked, man. But this says a male Kodeshim engaged, allowing male worshipers to use them for anal sex, as did the sacred harlots. 2 Kings 20 and 23 and 7. So let's get that real quick. Yeah. All right, 2 Kings 23 and 7, it says, and he brake down the house of the Sodomites that were by the house of the Lord, where the women wove hangings for the groves. And he brought out all the priests out of the cities of Judah and defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense, from Geba to Beersheba, and break down the high places of the gates that were in the entering of the gates of Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on a man's left hand at the gate of the city. So look, this scripture says it, but the thing is, this is why we have to do our digging. Okay, study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay. Being able to distinguish left from right, you know what I'm saying, shit from sugar, that's the studying, you know what I'm saying, because once you go into it and then you get people like Sinetta just want to pop up and say, oh yeah, y'all was doing this, like, bro, we tell y'all what y'all be doing. It's not a tit for tat. Again, it's like y'all are trying to throw rocks and hide your hands and saying, look at what they doing, so nobody can look at all the nasty freaky stuff that your religion is into. Okay, that's all that they're doing, you know what I'm saying. So that's why I say it's not a tit for tat. It's like, bro, y'all on that bullshit. It ain't us, you know what I'm saying. But y'all trying to point out the worst and over sensualize the so-called negative of our belief system. Okay, and which our belief system is the right system. Okay, because their worship is all into woman worship and women, the queen of heaven and all that. That I'm pretty sure that came out their mouths on some regular shit with they women. You know what I'm saying? Goddess of Canaan and goddess, you know, like, come on, man. Okay, okay, so says fertility rites were practiced at the numerous shrines which dotted the land, as well as the major sanctuaries. A characteristic feature of the fertility cult was sacral sexual intercourse by priest and priestess and other specially consecrated persons, sacred prostitutes of both sexes. Child sacrifice was also a feature of the rites. Okay, and so it goes on and on. So, and then last thing I wanted to put in, speaking of rites and all that, let's because I like doing a Google search so you can see, you know, me put it in. It ain't no BS, man. Let's see here. The interior of the roof, all that, blah blah blah. So let's go to Ashteroth. I spelled it wrong. All right, the Ashteroth. Look, the Ashteroth star. Here, look at it. Look at it. All what's associated when you click in that name. But anything, this consecrated star, don't that look familiar? That look familiar? You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't that look familiar? You know, this is, hey, don't that look familiar? Come on now. Come on now, man. You know, I should use this as the still for the picture, man. This is it right here. This is the, come on, man. Stop trying to show me everything but the picture. Here. This should be it right here. This is their queen of heaven. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that woman came down, you know, with Revelation. That's what they think this is. But no. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they worshiping this. The Muslims took this. You know, one religion probably took this. Religion took this. Everybody took the woman. You know, yeah, it's all goofy ass shit. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not a coincidence that a lot of these people that are into the LGBTQ community and everything else, they don't believe in the Most High for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of them are atheists and into, you know, Mole in its entirety. You know, so with that being said, say call all y'all Bashim Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praise to y'all Bashim Yahweh Shai, the Bonsai apostles and the elders, which are elders who rule well, which are GMS. Let's citate brothers out there teaching and doing truth, sincerity. Hey, shalom.